Tokenism.
Tokenism.
Told.
Told.
Tolerable.
Tolerable.
The apartment is really too small, but it's tolerable for the time being.
The heat in this room is barely tolerable.
Tolerably.
Tolerably.
We were tolerably happy at first.
Tolerance.
Tolerance.
Tolerance towards religious minorities.
Many old people have a very limited tolerance to cold.
Tolerance zone. Tolerance zone.
Tolerant.
Tolerant.
Luckily, my parents were tolerant of my choice of music.
A tolerant society.
Trees that are tolerant of salt sea winds.
Tolerate.
Tolerate.
We simply will not tolerate vigilante groups on our streets.
I couldn't tolerate the long hours.
Plants that tolerate drought. Women's bodies can tolerate less alcohol than men's.
Toleration.
Toleration.
Religious toleration.
Toll.
Toll.
The death toll has risen to 83.
The bombings took a heavy toll, killing hundreds of Londoners.
Years of smoking have taken their toll on his health.
A heavy toll on the environment.
Toll booth.
Toll booth.
Toll bridge.
Toll bridge.
Toll free.
Toll free.
A toll-free number.
Toll gate.
Toll gate.
Toll plaza.
Toll plaza.
Toll road.
Toll road.
Tollway.
Tollway.
Tom.
Tom.
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Tomb.
Tomb.
The family tomb.
Tombola.
Tombola.
Tomboy.
Tomboy.
Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Tombstoning.
Tombstoning. Tomcat.
Tomcat.
Tome.
Tome.
Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery.
Tommy gun.
Tommy gun.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Our class is going to London tomorrow. Terry's new job starts a week tomorrow.
We're meeting tomorrow evening.
I'll see you at tomorrow's meeting. The computers of tomorrow will be smaller and more powerful.
Rita's spending money like there's no tomorrow.
Tom Thumb.
Tom Thumb.
Tom-tom.
Tom-tom.
Ton.
Ton.
I've got tons of work to do.
Your bag weighs a ton.
Tonal.
Tonal.
The tonal range she uses is wide and varied.
Tonality.
Tonality.
Tone.
Tone.
You must be Annie, he said in a friendly tone.
There was urgency in his tone.
Her tone was sharp with anger. It was obvious from her tone of voice that she didn't like me.
The guitar's clean tone.
They talked in hushed tones.
No, I didn't, he said in a low tone.
An even-toned voice.
The tone of the report was radical.
The meetings were noted for their deeply religious tone.
The article was moderate in tone.
Opening remarks are important, since they set the tone for the rest of the interview.
Different tones of green.
Perhaps a darker tone would be better.
Your skin tone.
The dried colour is slightly deeper in tone than it appears when first applied. The dried colour is slightly deeper in tone than it appears when first applied.
Please leave a message after the tone.
That horrible building lowers the whole tone of the neighbourhood.
Trust you to lower the tone of the conversation.
A regular brisk walk will improve muscle tone.
There is a falling tone on the first syllable and a rising tone on the other.
Exercise can strengthen and tone muscles. He began to use weights in order to tone up his body. A well-toned body.
His advisers told him to tone down his speech. Blue can be used to tone down very sunny rooms.
Choose candles that will tone in with your tablecloth and china.
Tone deaf.
Tone deaf.
Tone language.
Tone language.
Toneless.
Toneless.
I'm sorry, he said in a flat, toneless voice.
Tone poem.
Tone poem.
Toner.
Toner.
Tongs.
Tongs.
Tongue.
Tongue.
Joe ran his tongue over his dry lips.
The taste of the chocolate was still on her tongue.
The girl scowled at me, then stuck out her tongue.
She clicked her tongue and shook her head.
Gina's sharp tongue will get her into trouble one day.
A sharp-tongued young teacher.
Did I say $100? It must have been a slip of the tongue.
I wanted to argue, but I had to bite my tongue.
I couldn't get my tongue around the names of the villages we'd visited.
Their names trip off the tongue very easily.
The wine had certainly loosened her tongue. Polly found her tongue at last and told them about the attack. Angela's divorce will certainly set tongues wagging. Anton lapsed into his own tongue when he was excited. She felt more comfortable talking in her native tongue.
Huge tongues of fire were licking the side of the building.
Tongue and groove.
Tongue and groove.
Tongue and groove floorboards.
Tongue depressor.
Tongue depressor.
Tongue-in-cheek.
Tongue-in-cheek.
I love that kind of tongue-in-cheek wit. I think he was talking tongue-in-cheek.
Tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied.
When adults spoke to her, she became tongue-tied and shy.
Tongue twister.
Tongue twister.
Tonic.
Tonic.
She sat and sipped a gin and tonic.
A lot of people need a tonic at the end of the winter.
A weekend by the sea was the perfect tonic.
A herbal skin tonic.
Tonight.
Tonight.
I think I'll go to bed early tonight. We're meeting him at 9 o'clock tonight.
I'm really looking forward to tonight.
Tonight should be fun.
Here is tonight's news bulletin.
Toning tables. Toning tables.
Tonnage.
Tonnage.
A huge tonnage of bombs has already been dropped on the area.
Ton.
Ton.
Tons.
Tons.
I feel tons better after a rest.
Tonsil.
Tonsil.
If you keep getting throat infections, you might have to have your tonsils out. Tonsillitis.
Tonsillitis.
Sam's got tonsillitis.
Tonsure.
Tonsure.
His tonsured head.
Tony.
Tony.
We met in a Tony restaurant uptown.
Tony Award.
Tony Award.
Two.
Two.
Do you think the music's too loud?
You've put too much salt in the soup.
There are too many cars on the road.
Amanda is far too young to get married. I was getting too old for romantic relationships.
My boots were 3 sizes too big for me.
He was too ill to travel.
The box was too heavy for me to lift.
There were people from all over Europe and America, too.
Can I come too?
I'm feeling hungry. Me too.
It's a more efficient system and it's cheaper too.
She doesn't seem too upset about it.
What was the weather like? Oh, not too bad.
She was none too pleased when I told her.
Beggars are becoming an all too familiar sight in our cities.
I regret to say that these rumours are only too true.
He's been banned from driving. A good thing too. A woman farmer? Asked Gabriel. Yes, and a rich one too.
You're not smart enough to use a computer. I am too.
Working full-time was too much for her.
The shock was too much for him. Thank you. You are too kind. I'd be only too pleased to assist you.
Doctors have criticised the government's response to the crisis as too little, too late.
Took.
Took.
Tool.
Tool.
I don't have the right tools to start fiddling around with the engine. A shop selling garden tools.
Television is an important tool for the modern teacher.
These books are the tools of my trade.
The king was merely a tool of the military government.
He spent the afternoon tooling around town.
The factory was tooled up to produce light weapons.
Toolbar.
Toolbar.
Toolbox.
Toolbox. The default toolbox contains tools for drawing lots of different shapes.
Tooled.
Tooled.
Tooled up. Tooled up.
Toolkit.
Toolkit.
I realised I'd left my toolkit at home.
Toolshed.
Toolshed.
Toot. Toot.
The taxi driver was angrily tooting his horn.
A car tooted at us.
Tooth.
Tooth.
Sugar is bad for your teeth. We need an environment agency that really has teeth.
We fought tooth and nail to get these plans accepted.
I can't wait to get my teeth into the new course.
Permission for the development was granted in the teeth of opposition from local shopkeepers. Permission for the development was granted in the teeth of opposition from local shopkeepers.
A horrible scraping sound that set my teeth on edge.
Toothache.
Toothache.
I've got toothache.
I had terrible toothache all last night.
Toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
Tooth fairy.
Tooth fairy.
Toothing. Toothing.
Toothless.
Toothless.
A toothless old woman.
He gave us a toothless grin.
Does the agency have the power to prosecute companies, or is it a toothless organisation?
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste.
Toothpick.
Toothpick.
Tooth powder.
Tooth powder.
Toothsome.
Toothsome.
An attractive and toothsome dish.
Toothy.
Toothy.
Tootle.
Toodle.
We spent the afternoon tootling along the coast. Tootling away on a flute.
Toots.
Toots.
Hey, Toots. How are you doing?
Tootsies.
Tootsies.
Top.
Top.
The tops of the mountains were still covered with snow.
She could only just see over the tops of their heads.
He was standing at the top of the stairs.
We'll sit down once we're at the top.
Write your name at the top of the page.
Stop and wait for us when you get to the top of the slope.
I filled the glass right to the top. The book I wanted was at the very top of the pile.
We could just see the white cliff tops in the distance.
A low wooden table with a glass top.
We walked along the top of the ancient city walls.
She put the papers down on the top of the piano.
Her fingers drummed on the tabletop.
He has reached the top of his profession.
It's the people at the top who make the decisions.
All young footballers dream of making it to the top.
The groups that are currently at the top of the tree in the pop world.
I can't get the top off the jar.
You've left the top off the toothpaste again.
Can you put the top back on the bottle when you've finished with it?
Has anyone seen my pen top?
She was wearing a stripy knitted top.
A skirt with a matching top.
A bikini top.
I can't find my pyjama top. Europe is once again at the top of the political agenda.
The cake was a bit burnt on top.
A high roof with a chimney on top.
Can you cut it quite short on top, please?
After the first set, the Australian was comfortably on top.
There should be an envelope on top of the fridge.
Don't worry. I'm back on top of things now.
I should be more on top of my work next week.
On top of everything else, I now have to go to work next Saturday.
We stacked the crates one on top of the other.
The truck was almost on top of us.
Things are starting to get on top of him.
It's difficult to predict who will come out on top.
When I heard she'd been released, I felt on top of the world.
Cut the tops off the tomatoes.
I found a recipe for beetroot tops. I waited at the top of East Street.
Just off the top of my head, I'd say there were about 50.
Angela ran out of the house, shouting at the top of her voice.
Right, let's take it from the top once more.
The whole house needs cleaning from top to bottom.
They were covered in mud from top to toe.
He's trying to embarrass you, that's the top and bottom of it. Poor Nigel, he doesn't have very much up top.
The impact of the blow sent me spinning like a top.
We have a flat on the top floor of the building.
The top button of his shirt.
I managed to scrape off the top layer of paint. I found the letter in the top drawer of his desk.
Our top tennis players.
A top New York salon.
One of the world's top engineering companies. People in top jobs. She got top marks.
The top score was 72.
Barcelona remained top of the league after beating Real Madrid. Despite losing last night, Manchester United are still top.
Top right, silk blouse, £195 from Harrods.
We tore down the motorway at top speed. A sports car with a top speed of 140 miles per hour. Education is this government's top priority.
Clive's a top bloke.
Their profits have reportedly topped £1 million this year.
The Tower of London tops the list of London's most popular tourist attractions.
The team that has topped the Premiership for the last 3 seasons.
In 1998, the group topped the charts with the song Don't Stop Loving Me.
He topped his previous best performance, coming second in the 100 metres.
A rival company topped our offer by $5 million.
The roof was topped by a chimney.
A hill topped by pine trees.
A strawberry tart topped with whipped cream.
The cake can be topped off with fresh fruit.
To top it all, I lost my job.
Well, I've been asked to appear on a TV show later this year, so top that. Well, I've been asked to appear on a TV show later this year, so top that.
We topped the hill and looked down towards the valley below us.
Let's top off the evening with a drink.
Do you think interest rates have topped out now?
I'll just top up the coffee pot. Can I top you up?
He had to do extra jobs at the weekend to top up his income.
Topaz.
Topaz.
Top banana.
Top banana.
Top brass. Top brass.
The top brass are coming in from Washington to see how we do things here.
The meeting was attended by top diplomats and military top brass.
Top class.
Top class.
A top-class athlete. A top-class restaurant.
Top coat.
Top coat.
Top dog.
Top dog.
He always wanted to be the one in control, the top dog.
Top dollar. Top dollar. Computer customers are willing to pay top dollar for fast repair.
Top down.
Top down.
The company has a top-down management system. A top-down approach to decision-making.
Top drawer.
Top drawer.
England need to produce a top-draw performance if they want to win this match.
Top dressing.
Top dressing.
Topee.
Topee.
Top flight.
Top flight.
They've hired a really top-flight sales team.
Top gear.
Top gear.
The car will cruise at 80 miles per hour in top gear. The party's election campaign is now moving into top gear.
Top grossing.
Top grossing.
Top hat.
Top hat.
Top heavy.
Top heavy.
The company was burdened by a top-heavy bureaucracy.
Topee.
Topee.
Topiary.
Topiary.
Topic.
Topic.
The environment is a popular topic these days.
We shall return to the topic of education in Chapter 7. The wedding has been the only topic of conversation for weeks. The main topic for discussion will be the proposed new supermarket.
A wide range of topics.
Topical.
Topical.
A new TV comedy dealing with topical issues.
Topical jokes.
Top knot.
Top knot.
Topless.
Topless.
Topless sunbathing.
Top level.
Top level.
Top-level meetings between EU leaders.
Topmost.
Topmost.
The topmost branches were still bathed in sunlight.
Top-notch.
Top-notch.
I was lucky and got myself a job with a top-notch company.
Top of the range.
Top of the range.
A top-of-the-range electric guitar.
Topography.
Topography.
Topper.
Topper.
Topping.
Topping.
A pizza with extra toppings.
Topple.
Topple.
A stack of plates swayed and began to topple over.
This scandal could topple the government.
Top-ranking.
Top-ranking.
Top-ranking diplomats.
Top-rated.
Top-rated.
A top-rated TV show.
Top-round.
Top-round.
Tops.
Tops.
It should take 2 hours tops.
The store was voted tops for its outstanding facilities for children.
Top secret.
Top secret.
A top-secret code.
Topside.
Topside. Top slice. Top slice. One proposal is to top slice the BBC licence fee and spread the proceeds to other broadcasters.
Topsoil.
Topsoil.
Topspin.
Topspin.
Topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy.
He left his room all topsy-turvy.
Top table.
Top table.
Top up.
Top up.
Would you like a top-up?
Top-up loans for students.
Top-up card.
Top-up card.
Tor.
Tor.
Torch.
Torch.
We shone our torches around the cavern. The Olympic torch.
Rioters torched several abandoned cars.
Torchlight.
Torchlight.
A torchlight procession.
Torch song.
Torch song.
Toreador.
Tor.
Tor.
Toreador.
Toreador.
Torment.
Torment. She lay awake all night in torment.
The journey must have been a torment for them.
Seth was tormented by feelings of guilt.
The older boys would torment him whenever they had the chance.
Torn.
Torn.
Torn. Tornado.
Tornado.
Torpedo.
Torpedo. Torpedo.
New threats of violence have effectively torpedoed the peace talks.
Torpid.
Torpid.
A torpid mind.
Torpor.
Torpor.
She tried to rouse him from the torpor into which he had sunk.
Torque.
Torque.
Torrent.
Torrent.
After 5 days of heavy rain, the Tele River was a raging torrent.
The rain came down in torrents.
When I asked him to move, he unleashed a torrent of abuse.
The woman poured out a torrent of Italian.
Torrential.
Torrential.
Torrid.
Torrid.
A torrid love affair.
The torrid desert sun.
He had a torrid time out there on the racetrack.
Torsion.
Torsion.
Torso.
Torso.
The torso of a woman.
Tort.
Tort.
Tortilla.
Tortilla chip.
Tortilla chip.
Tortoise.
Tortoise.
Tortoise shell.
Tortoise shell.
Tortuous.
Tortuous.
A tortuous path over the mountains to Kandahar.
The book begins with a long, tortuous introduction.
Torture.
Torture.
He died after 5 days of excruciating torture.
The waiting must be torture for you.
Political opponents of the regime may be tortured.
Rachel sat alone for hours at home, tortured by jealousy.
Torturous.
Torturous.
A torturous 5 days of fitness testing.
Tory.
Tory.
A lifelong Tory.
Tory principles.
Tosh.
What a load of old tosh.
Toss.
Toss.
She crumpled the letter and tossed it into the fire.
Toss that book over, will you?
Catch, said Sandra, tossing her bag to him.
Frank tossed her the newspaper.
The small boat was tossed about like a cork.
I've been tossing and turning all night.
They tossed a coin to decide who would go first.
We couldn't make up our minds, so we decided to toss for it.
The crowd cheered, banging pots and tossing confetti into the air.
Toss the carrots in some butter before serving.
He tossed his head angrily and left the room.
One of those painters who can toss off a couple of pictures before breakfast.
He tossed off a few whiskies.
I tossed most of that stuff out when we moved.
Kurt was tossed out of the club for trying to start a fight.
The toss of a coin decided who would go first.
Mallory won the toss and will serve.
I'll see, the nurse said, with an officious toss of her head.
I really couldn't give a toss what Sam thinks.